Right, okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to add music and sound effects to your game and how to play them. Okay, so the first job is to open Solution Explorer. I'm assuming you've got your sound effects first. The best format for these is MP3, and we're going to add them to the audio folder of the content project. So we're going to say add existing item. So it's a little bit like doing your graphics work. Navigate and find your music. There's mine, just some royalty-free music I got. Okay, from bensound.com. There's quite a few different bits of music on there. Right, so that's the first bit. Then I need to go to assets. Okay, and if I scroll down to where all the textures are loaded, I can put my code to load the sound in. So I'm just going to pin the Solution Explorer so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to do F2 to copy the name so I don't mess it up. And then I'm going to, after the textures, I'm going to say gm.loadmanager.add sound effect. Okay, and I have to give it a name. This is the name I'll refer to when I want to play it. So I'll call it title music. The names are case sensitive, so I tend to put my names in lowercase. Then I need to put the file name. So the file name is the audio folder / and then I'll paste the name I copied. You can type that if you think you're going to get it right. Okay, so that's the first bit. The other thing we need to do is if we right click on this MP3 and go properties, we need to change the content processor, this one, to sound effect. Okay, and that tells the XNA framework to treat it as something that isn't a song. By default, MP3s are treated as songs, but we want it to be a sound effect. Okay, so it should say sound effect XNA framework. So that's adding it to the engine. So it's a bit like the graphics. You don't have to store it in a special place. It goes straight into the sound manager. To play it, go to the appropriate place. So I'm going to do this from the start. So I'm in the title container, and I'm just going to put a bit of code in here, and I'm going to say gm.audiomanager. If I want to play a sound effect just once, I can use play effect. Okay, so I've put play effect and then title music. I must spell that correctly. Okay, so you can double check that in assets, copy and paste it if you need to. So it's that sound. That's what I want to do. So that's one way of playing it. I'll show you that. It should just work now. It'll take a little bit of time because it's got to convert the MP3 file into a binary format. So we'll twiddle our thumbs while we're waiting for it to build. But once it's built once, it won't have to do that again. Unless you have a disaster and you have to rebuild your project. Okay, so the site I used for this was this, which is a really nice site. Loads of different types of music. So bensound.com. Okay, now it's still going. I think that's the network causing this. It's still building. But that is really, there isn't much more. So if you're doing that sound effect, like shooting, explosions and all that, same process. Just make sure you load it using the preloader where the textures are loaded. Make sure you've added it to your audio folder. Make sure you change the properties so that it's sound effect. Oh, it's done. And it should be playing that music. Now, I don't know whether that's going to be playing. I'll need to check that on the video. So that's one way of playing it. The other way of playing it is, so if we just comment that out for a minute, that gives you basic control, but we want more control. We can say, oh dear, play managed effect. Now this gives us more control. Now this is for when you're play multiple sounds, and you want to decide whether you restart sounds and things like that. So we have to put an instance name, but we don't actually care about that. That's in case you want to play a sound 4 times. So you can give them different names so that you can mess about with them. You can change the volume and things independent of each other. Okay, so the key bit is the effect name. So that is our title music again. And then I can put a loop count in. So if I put -1, it'll play forever. It'll keep looping. If I want to play it twice, I can do that. So you can do that if you want an explosion to happen twice and things like that. So that is equivalent of the code we had before. Okay, so if you just run that, and there is little L2 sound effects. You can do 3D sound effects, and you can do panning and changing the pitch. But I can show people that in another video. So that was just the basic stuff. Okay. Thank you very much.